Hi, my name is Esther Lucas Robinson, and today I will be presenting my interpersonal communication project. I would like to first say that this class has been extremely informative and life-changing, as I've been able to glean um, quite a lot of information from this course, which has absolutely enlarged my communication. Q. The first thing I would like to discuss is the difference between regular communication and interpersonal communication. Communication is what we naturally do by way of talking. This is verbal communication, speaking to individuals. And then there is the nonverbal communication, which involves body language, our hands, our facial gestures, how we express ourselves physically. And there often the nonverbal rings louder than the verbal communication. These are all forms of just communication. How we just talk to people. And there are three key elements to communication. That's the message, the audience, and the medium. When we talk about interpersonal communication, we're talking about engaging the person you're talking to. It is where people begin to share. There's a connection between you and the person. You're speaking in ways that maximize your conversation. That is what interpersonal communication is. So when I talk about enlarging my communication skills, that means that I am going to address anything that I see, especially from this course, that is a hindrance to effective communication. Anything that I might be saying or anything I might be doing that might keep the listener from listening, I'm going to address. Um, I want it to be a shared experience when I'm communicating. Um, Q. And when I enlarge my communication skills, I address those weaknesses that I have, personality weaknesses. And in addressing that, that helps me to be able to be a better, more effective communicator. Yeah. When I talk about my background behavior, then I am personality D type, which comes as no surprise to me. I've always known and been told that dominant. I am a dominating person. I've been told that even I can be demanding. Very success goal oriented, if anything, and extremely hard worker, being the middle child and out of nine siblings, and the oldest girl, playing a very responsible role at a young age. I took on these character traits, and often people tend to lean on me, and this is what is expected of me. But in reality, I imagine I reflect the CIS personality type, where I love being helping others. I love being your best assistant. I love making people look good. I am very project oriented, and I am a team player and extremely organized. So this really is me, Q. How my behavior influences my communication on the positive. I've always been a servant. I've always been a giver. Um, I love doing for people. I do listen well. That's why I am trying to complete this degree in counseling. I'm a very critical thinker, and I am aware of my shortcomings. Thank God. I do a lot of self-examining because I know that I have been, and can be critical of others. So in the negative, that's one of the negatives. I can be overly critical, and I have to be careful of that because I have a very strong personality. My desire is not to intimidate, so I am aware of that. I can be controlling if you give me something, you put me in charge. I can certainly um, try my best to get the job done. But I am very overly analytical, which often works against me, and I have to pay attention to myself when that's happening here. Potential barriers to my interpersonal communication. Well, I had to admit after this course that I'm not always engaged with my total person, um, my total body. I'm not giving it at all because there are conversations that I might have which just aren't uh, interesting because they're frivolous, and I, at this point in my life, um, I don't like to talk about just simple talking, for lack of a better word. I like to engage in very thought-provoking conversations, but that's not always the case. So I am going to try to get past that and work better, listen to others with my total being. I want people to listen to me, so I in turn must listen to them. Um, I often wait to address situations that are negative because I know my temperament. And the irrational approach really helps me because it's a simple methodology and it just allows you to just, work through whatever negative emotions there are before things get out of hand. So that has helped me quite a bit. Q. It's difficult for me to listen to those persons who lack integrity. That is a pet peeve. I can honestly admit this, that, if I can know that you're before me and you're being dishonest, I internally shut down. But I will intentionally employ to counteract effects of flat brain syndrome so that I don't automatically tune out the cue. Noise pollution, well, everyone I believe has their own internal noise pollution, the things from their past, the things they've been through. Um, and for me, I don't want to intellectualize every conversation. Keep it simple, being less critical. Those are my internal issues. Externally, you end up in places where there's just distraction, and it's just hard to hit a conversation. Um, and it's like blah blah blah. But Q, there are solutions. I will determine not to, and I try to even now not to engage in conversations that require the past to be left in the past. Some stuff is just needs to be left alone. I try most wholeheartedly not to engage in conversations that lead nowhere, that are offensive. I just won't allow myself to go there. I will absolutely try not to close my mind off and be more open-minded to people. And I think that I have been doing that. And I certainly have worked on being less critical. Externally, all we can do is seek to try to have conversations where you're not distracted and be physically engaged to the speaker. That means, nodding my head, letting them know that I hear them, just like I want them to hear me. Q. My plan of action, to say the least, is to be cognizant of my verbal, nonverbal communication, get myself out of my box, listen to the scripture when it says to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. That is such a powerful scripture to me. Um, Commit myself to neutralizing uncomfortable situations, and certainly commit myself to not engaging in defensive communication. This plan of action will allow me to enlarge my communication. Thank you, and this is the close of my project.